Here on the morning tea, giving everything that you need here in the morning with your girl DJ Razberry. Productions here in the building with us here on the morning tea. Since you know, relaxing and doing people out there, Mario, you gotta let them know who you are and what do you do.
Hi, I'm Mario B with Mario B Productions, and I am a fashion show producer, fashion stylist, and also operate a modeling youth program. I serve kids from 5 to 25 years old throughout the Bay Area, a lot of inner city youth that are also high risk in foster care youth.
Oh wow, so you help the kids out, I see, and that's a good thing. I mean, how old were you when you knew fashion was what you wanted to do?
I was like maybe 6 years old. I've always had an eye for fashion. Even in first grade, I was always designing and drawing stretches and just kind of had an eye for fashion. I think it was definitely a gift. I was very young, and my vision was to grow up to be a fashion person, to actually do runway shows, and so I'm kind of actually living out my dreams right now.
Wow, so when you were younger,
I was like 6 or 7 years old, I started producing, and we were doing fashion shows and production stuff over at high schools. Now, when BART first came out, I remember we did a show at a high school which I produced at a very early age, and they gave us BART tickets when BART first came out. So I knew I had a gift then. So I just kind of, after school every day, just hung out at the Fulton Street Culture Center and the arts, and just kind of hung out in the arts a lot as I was growing up every day after school.
That's good. So how long exactly have you been doing the fashion?
Well, I've been doing the fashion about 12 years now, and I'm really consistent about doing the fashion. And so I've been doing this program for about 12 years. Every day, this is what I do. I don't do anything but teach and fashion and sleeping, dreaming, eating, and this is what I do.
So you wake up and do what you love, which is very good, because my dad always told me that you want to grow up and do what you love, because you go to work happy. I'm happy to be here. You don't have any bickering going on because it's doing something that you want to do. Has everyone been supportive of the decisions from families and friends of what you do?
Well, yeah, that's a yes and no question. Far as family, they've been very supportive. And so for my dad, he's don't really quite see me living as an artist. He'd rather me have a different job and kind of work and do what regular people do. And he kind of a little unsure about what I'm doing. But as I become successful, then he's starting to see more of my vision. And he does support, and I'm excited about what he do support when he is at the events and at the shows.
That's always good to have parent support, but I'm still trying to figure out, what does he mean by a regular job? What is regular people supposed to do?
Well, he's kind of old-fashioned. Go to work every day. Bank, and so the thing people say, starving artists, and just kind of like really be a responsible person. He didn't quite understand what my vision was, is trying to live as a creative person, as a creative artist.
Okay, that's what I'm feeling that.
I told you, this was definitely a gift from God. I've always had an eye for fashion, just growing up, and just being creative. I could take a brown paper bag and turn it into a gown. I don't know. It's just a beautiful gift that God given me. And the great part about it is that I recognize and I'm able to share my gift and give it back with other people.
Okay, can you describe your production company?
So Mario B Productions, what I do is actually get kids from 5 to 25 that are basically inner city. Some are high risk youth, and some of them are foster care youth, and a lot of family orientated youth that come to me and they have a desire to want to model. And what I do is teach them how to walk. I have a lot of girls who may not have walked in high heels. I actually teach them how to walk in high heels.
I cannot walk in high heels.
And actually teach them how to walk, how to pose, how to just kind of work with their self-esteem. So I help them actually be able to do personal development as well as the personal transformation.
So I know you are something about self-esteem, and it's
conscious raising about their beautiful inside and out. And once they make that transformation, because a lot of girls haven't been able to see themselves in other lights. So once we do makeup and do hair and actually style them and actually make that transformation, they get a chance to see themselves differently. And then a lot of girls could be victimized from guys, always harassing them about, just how that male and female thing works. And so I just think a lot of girls, they just need somebody just to tell them and somebody just to be there. Not just the girls, but the guys as well. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of that also we find in males as well. Low self-esteem, low self-worth. Men have it just as hard, especially African American men who's either on parole, probation, and they don't really have a lot of opportunities. And so it's really about giving them the self-esteem and the self-worth to make them feel that they're worthy of to be able to get the jobs and to be able to go out there. And so that's what I kind of do, is just give the young people a platform and just work with them as is, no matter what their situations is. I take them in and just kind of do case management around it, mentoring, whatever it takes, we're going to work through it.
And that's a good thing, because like I said, the kids out here, they need that when they grow up, after that they go to college, and when you get in college, it's open forum. That's when you find out your personality, who you are, and it's good to catch that self-esteem early, because you don't want to go to college and don't have any self-esteem, because you're always going to limit yourself to doing things. This is the Morning Tea. We're going to take a little break. We got Mario B Productions in the building here on the Morning Tea, 89.9 FM, the East Bay's best variety. We're going to play a couple songs, and we're going to get right back into the interview here on the Morning Tea, baby. We're going to get back to where we left off, talking about helping the youth and helping them with their self-esteem and just being a beautiful person that we should be and feel each and every day. So, Mario, is there anything you don't like about the fashion industry?
There's quite a few things that I don't like about the fashion industry that are acceptable, that things that can be worked through with just lacks of communication. And I think, how would I say, there is a underlying racism there. There's a lot of things that the fashion just doesn't stand on its own. It's always connected to some type of charity or some type of fundraiser, where fashion should just be fashion on its own. And a lot of people tie fashion into the party scene. Fashion shows are in a lot of party scenes and a lot of different clubs, and I think that fashion should just stand on its own element.
Every time I think about, what are some of the good things about being in the fashion industry?
The good things about it is that fashion is, the trends, it always repeats itself. In fashion it's just I love fashion. First of all, I just can't get over just loving beautiful, expensive quality and nice quality things and designer stuff. For me, I think the trends are always come back. They always repeat themselves, and I don't know. I just love fashion. I don't.
Hey, I'm the same way, but I've never thought about even throwing a fashion show or doing fashion myself. But just being, like you said, the style does repeat itself, because right now we're back in the 80s again. Seem like it.
Right, we're actually in the 80s. We're actually kind of going back to the 60s. If you notice, a lot of the women are wearing those old-fashioned dresses, to Leave It to Beaver.
The bow ties and all that.
And so those type of styles are actually coming back. I'm doing a lot of those vintage styles for this up-and-coming fashion show.
I've seen some of your pictures.
So we're doing a lot of focusing on a lot of the vintage stuff, which is kind of really coming back heavy into fashion. The old crocodile bags and the old
I've never even seen crocodile bags.
So
what would you change in the industry?
One of the things that I would change is the way that people collaborate with one another. There's a lot of people who are doing things in the fashion world, but a lot of them aren't working together collectively for the love of the Bay. We have a lot of beautiful talent here in San Francisco, Oakland, Richmond, everybody, Hayward, everywhere. We have talented people in the fashion world, but collectively, I don't think that everybody's working together.
Definitely. We need to stick together and help each other out.
Right, and like San Francisco has the fabulous stores. We have the market there, but like I said, I don't think everyone's collectively working together. I was the producer of Chic Fashion Week. I brought Fashion Week back to San Francisco that hadn't had a Fashion Week in 4 or 5 years, and I was able to bring Fashion Week back. And collectively, I tried to reach out to all the fashion people to kind of bring them all together so we could have a fashion week again.
Yeah.
They did support, but I didn't get the full support that I think Fashion Week should have gotten.
Yeah.
A lot of people was just kind of waiting to see what would happen. Will I be able to pull it off?
Yeah.
Will it really happen? And it did happen. Actually, it was a success. We did win Best Fashion Show
Oh, wow.
of the year.
Congratulations.
Competing with other top fashion shows.
Oh.
Macy's Passport.
Okay.
Academy of Arts. All those shows. I did win Best Chic Fashion Week.
Wow,
of the year.
That's like winning a Grammy right there.
Right. It was like winning a Grammy. It was a really good feeling. I also did work with some people who did support Leather and Lace, who was partners with me in Fashion Week. And so we did kind of pull Fashion Week off together.
Wow,
and I'm looking at doing another one, which I'm doing a Bollywood Fashion Week.
Bollywood, oh wow.
Yes, and so I'm really like high on the Indian culture. I've worked with a lot of top Indian designers from India, Milan, Paris, and really, really beautiful stuff, and really, really beautiful fabrics and really beautiful clothes. And so I really love working with the Indian culture, with the fashion stuff.
Oh, that sounds like something I got. Coming with that idea to even think about doing the Bollywood.
Well, I've worked with a fashion magazine, Nirvana Woman, which was an Indian fashion magazine, and I was the fashion show coordinator. And we've done Tycon. I worked with Tycon, which is a big company, and produced a lot of big fashion shows with Tycon. And I've just worked with a lot of different Indian culture people.
Yeah.
And I work with Swati Couture, who's one of my closest designers, and Bria from Paris. And I've just done a lot of stuff with the Indian culture, which kind of really helped me really get started in my career of really doing a lot of high-end fashion shows and producing and choreographing these high-end fashion shows. And so that was kind of one of my foots in the door in the fashion industry. And so as I ventured out, I still have the love and passion for the Bollywood.
Yes, that's definitely, I mean, that's a style that we're missing out here now. You don't see people dressing, you're just stuck on the skinny jeans and the white tees and the bow ties. But on the other hand, I know it costs a lot of money to do these events. How do you get your sponsors to help you with events like this?
Well, a lot of times we just kind of, plan ahead, get sponsorship. A lot of times I work with mostly investors more than I do sponsorship.
Yeah.
And it's people that really believe in what I'm doing and be willing to put up for some of these events and hopefully get the return.
Yeah.
Sometimes we break even, sometimes we make just enough, and sometimes we don't make enough at all. And that just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But I think for me, sponsors are kind of hard. It's not as used like they used to be.
Yeah.
Well, they would give a lot of donations and stuff. They do a lot of in-kinds now, which are always really, really great. So I'm always supportive of and thankful for what people do donate to our program and do donate for the cause.
Yeah.
Right.
Has the economic crisis affected the fashion industry?
Well, I think yeah and no. I think because a lot of people aren't like sponsorship, like I said, isn't giving a lot of big donations and big funds to corporations in fashion. You have to really have already been in those relationships for long time relationships. So I think it has, but I still think now that fashion is just truly a different trend. Well, people are just doing it at nightclubs, they're doing it everywhere. Everybody's kind of like producing fashion shows now. So
and everybody can be a model. I'm just going to put that out there because I've seen some people and I'm like, what was the designer thinking?
Right. Well, it's an art to everything.
Yeah.
And some people are gifted and talented that have certain looks and features that can actually be models. And then there's people who just want to model. Which those people, that's where it goes to where it's maybe open their self-esteem. Yeah. They may not be that runway model, or they may not be that, but at that particular time they may be doing something for their self-esteem.
I'm one of them people because I'm too short. I think I might be skinny enough, but my head is big, so I really don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not. But I did runway a couple years ago in high school, and I had a problem with walking in shoes. So it's like, you can wear your Timberlands. But my mom was like, why do you have a dress on with some Timberlands? I was like, well, they told me that they wanted me to be comfortable, so they took the high heels away because I was almost broke my neck on the runway. So you were saying you actually teach the girls how to walk the runway, which is really important because if you're a model, you need to learn how to have the right posture, how to walk, and etc.
Right. So what I do is actually create workshops. Where I have maybe 30, 40, 20, 25 girls at a time, and we line them up and actually do workshops and actually teach them how to walk, and then we break it down to one-on-one. You know, certain girls aren't picking up as fast, and we have one-on-ones. And we constantly do workshops, and we walk for like 2 hours straight.
Oh, wow.
And then I actually like walk them, and then I kind of do boot camp type style. And then I teach them individually if they're struggling and they're not, you know, with the class, then I have to take them to the side. And I have a couple of trainers, and we get them together, and eventually they pick on, because either if you want this, then you do what you have to do, you know, and you go home and study and then you come back. And one of the things is that we're always working towards a show. So they're always excited about what's coming up next, and they want to be a part of what's next. So it's like they have to work towards it.